Plaintiff Kyle Kibbe says after he rented a room in the defendant's home, he realized the defendant wore clown makeup, which made Kyle uncomfortable because of his fear of clowns. Kyle's suing because when he left town one weekend, the defendant had a party and his property was damaged. Defendant Christopher Austin admits that he wears clown makeup, but says he's a rapper and that's just part of his lifestyle. Christopher also admits that he had people over while Kyle was out of town, but says if Kyle cared about his property, he should have taken it with him.
All right, start with you.
All right, well, buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride because this clown is crazy. We met at a Hare Krishna Community Center where they have weekly dinners. It's a great way to meet new people. And I noticed when I first met him, they had some makeup on. I thought that was a little strange. But I'm an open-minded person, and I don't like to judge a book by its cover. So we started a friendship then. We would see each other maybe like once or twice a month for a while. I wouldn't say we had a deep friendship or anything, but we knew each other casually. And then it turned out for the month of November, I was switching over from houses. I needed a place to stay. And one of his roommates was actually going to be gone for November. So it was a win-win situation. Decided I would sublet the room for the month of November. I moved in on November 1st, and I noticed immediately that he's in clown makeup. And it's not Halloween anymore.
Clown makeup, and it's no longer Halloween.
I was pretty taken aback by that because ever since I was a kid, I've been terrified of clowns. I've seen one too many killer clown movies when I was a kid. It's just something that...
I don't know, he kind of looks like a clown to me too, but that's just me,
Anyway, so, I was taken aback by that.
Did he have this outfit on when you met him? The clown attire, or
no, I do remember vividly what he's wearing. He's wearing Jinko jeans and an oversized button-up.
Okay. All right, let me get some background. That's his style or what have you, sir. What do you want to tell me?
I just think this kid is way over dramatic. Like the town we live in is small. Everybody knows me as Cornrows. That's my name. Everybody knows it. I perform. I do my thing called Team Buffy. He knows it.
Okay.
It's like
what type
everybody
of performance?
knows
A clown performance or what?
No, I'm like a rapper.
Comedy of some type?
No, I'm like a rapper.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like everybody in town knows it. Everybody knows what I do. It's a small town.
I didn't know that.
So that's part of your brand.
Yeah, it's just like
as a
it's like a juggalo lifestyle thing,
Right.
Yeah, I actually have pictures I'd like to show you.
He might hit with that.
There's pictures of me on the internet, so it's not that,
All right, what is it you want to show me?
I'm going to show you these pictures.
He might hit. That's his brand, and that's what he uses to attract attention. Now all he has to do is be able to rap. Can you do that?
I can do that.
So what's wrong with this?
What's wrong with
sharp. Yeah.
I do that makeup myself.
What's wrong with... Okay, I'm petrified of clowns.
That's your problem. What are you criticizing this man? This is his career.
It is my problem, and I had a problem with that. But you know what? I said, big whoop, it's for a month. Hold on to a prayer, and I'll get through this.
It's pretty sharp. I would come and see you if I saw this on a flyer and I was walking by.
You'd be scared.
And instead of going to see the strippers, I would come and see you.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that's a smart idea. If you're wearing this, that's a good way to get some attention, which is what performers want. That's what they need to sell their products.
Right.
So good for you. All right. So why are you suing him today? What happened? You're suing him for damaged property. What? You were running scared and you fell and damaged the property?
No.
What?
I went out of town the middle of November. It was a friend's birthday party. I went out of town for the weekend, and I told him before I left.
You moved in November 1st. Went out of town mid-November for the weekend. You told him what?
I'm leaving for the weekend. It's my friend's birthday party. Call me if you need anything on the way back. If anything happens, just let me know. I had a great time. Didn't hear from him the entire weekend. I come back that Sunday night and open the door. His bedroom is the first room. It's a complete mess. I'm not shocked. But when I opened the door to my bedroom, it looked like Category 5 Hurricane Juggalo ripped through my room. My textbooks.
That should be the name of my album, Hurricane Juggalo.
That's the name of your album?
That will be, thanks. Yeah.
Go ahead. And so
I walked into my room, and my textbooks were strewn across the floor. My clothing was stained on the floor as well. My computer was open and had sticky liquid on it. I found out that it was Faygo, which is a highly sugared soda pop that juggalos drink. So then they kind of get amped on it and become like...
He kind of knows a lot about juggalos to be afraid of them, right? He knows the drinks I drink.
Yeah, you sure do know a lot about them to be afraid of them.
I gotta say...
You know your enemy.
I gotta say, the last time I saw Kyle was I came in the house, and when he moved in, I had some weird vibes from him. I thought he was, trying to psych me out a lot. He was just kind of weird. But the last time I saw him, I literally came in the house. He's sitting in his room. He has the lights off. He has my music playing. He's also burning a CD with this candle that's sitting there. And then there's like eggs. It's just like this ritual thing, and I don't know what was going on, but this is literally the last time I saw him.
Is this true?
I'm a spiritual person.
No, you sit up in the dark listening to the man's music, the man who scares you when you see him. You're sitting up in the dark. Oh, we weren't scared when you thought of him? You don't get scared at the thought of him, only on the sight of him.
A thought is a thought. When they're in front of you, that's a different
That's what I'm asking. I'm just asking because you sat in the dark, burning candles over CDs while playing his music, and your eyes closed.
Yes.
Well, maybe something else to this.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to leave that alone. You can meditate on him all you want. Who knows what might come out of that.
Right.
Let's get to the damaged property. Did you ask him what occurred in your bedroom?
Yes, because when I saw the damage that was on the floors in my dresser and whatnot, I looked at my bed and I saw something under the covers and I pulled it up. There were 2 juggalos in my bed sleeping, and I immediately called him and I said, "What the hell happened here?"
Were there 2 people in his bed?
I don't know. I have people over, like I said.
Too high to know.
He does a lot of if you can grow it, he'll smoke it.
You don't have to tell me.
If it's all out and open like that,
I can look and listen to him and tell he like a little something every now and then. I don't know what it is.
I mean, who doesn't?
He likes something.
Who doesn't?
If you say it's weed, all the better. Hopefully that's more assuring. All right, sir. What is your defense to the damaged property? And let me see what you have in evidence showing what property was damaged. Sir, did you damage his property when he left for the weekend? What occurred?
I didn't do that. I mean, like I said, I have people over. All I can say is if he cared about his property, he should have taken it with him.
That's ridiculous. He
did the right thing today. That's for sure. He cared about his property, and he brought the evidence that you damaged it here.
In what universe
some brand new property? Nah, he did right. Whenever you have guests over, you're responsible for what occurs with those guests. They're your guests, and you're responsible for their activities. And in this case, they damaged his property. You admit that you had a party over there while he was gone and that his property was damaged. All right, good enough. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Don't be afraid of the clown.
You're a loser.
Don't be afraid of the clown.
Not down with the clown.
You're gonna have to deal with it.
You're
gonna have to deal with the clown.
Okay.
We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
All right. I'll get some black magic on you. I'll be burning a lot of candles and some other things too.
Whatever. Juggalo's gonna come for you.
Plaintiff Jeff Jones says he and the defendant have been best friends for nearly 8 years, and they even share the same birthday. Jeff claims he allowed the defendant to move in with him when she had no place to stay, but he's suing her today for unpaid rent. Defendant Gifted Mullins admits that she and Jeff are best friends and says he's like a brother to her. Gifted says when she moved in with Jeff, they never discussed her paying rent, so she doesn't believe she owes for anything.
Start with you.
Well, basically, this is my best friend, Gifted Free. We've been best friends for about, I'll say, 7 to 8 years. We started off in high school. We did a lot of things together. We actually share a birthday. So we call each other twins.
Same year as well?
Actually, not the same year. She's a year older than me. So we started from high school. you know, we moved up into college, and then, you know, we got into our adult years. Actually, our first trip to New York was together. Our first trip to Atlanta was also together. You know, we've also been to the Cheesecake Factory, done uploaded on a whole bunch of chocolate. You know, we done got hype, all type of stuff, you know, clubbing.
Sounds
everything.
like us.
Yeah, that's right. We have traveled together. Went to Detroit together. Couple times. Yeah, couple times.
For the most part.
Factory. Well, we'll make it over there. It's right up the street. So all those times, you all never had problems? You were...
No, actually, the only problem we do have is, you know, the unpaid rent.
All right.
Still our friends, you know, this is my best friend.
Good. Let me hear some background from you. Do you feel the same way about your friendship?
Same thing, you know, that's like my brother, you know. I have no issues with him personally at all. It's just unpaid rent.
All right, so how did this come about? What's going on with the rent?
Well, back in July, we was actually at the club, and she slid it in there real slick. She said she needed somewhere to stay. So I told her if she had her monthly rent, which was $350 a month, that she can come stay with me. She agreed to it, and
when did she move in?
She didn't move in till August. So she was there from August to December. She left, I think, December 24th, and she hadn't paid for August or October.
August or October?
August or September, I'm sorry. She started paying in October.
All right, ma'am, what do you say to this?
Well, initially I didn't know about paying rent. I didn't.
You didn't know about paying rent?
No, I didn't.
You didn't know people have to pay rent?
No, I know people had to pay rent, but initially I wasn't informed that when I moved to him that I had to pay rent. And when
did he tell you?
Like September, before I started working, he told me, like the end of September, when he first told me. Yeah, he told me in September.
You didn't work, obviously.
I wasn't working. I have
working.
2 kids and I go to school, so I always have time to, go to work. I just now just getting my life in order so I can make time.
You saying he never mentioned throughout 2 months? He never mentioned I'm going to need some rent.
Not at first, because I initially wasn't supposed to be.
Until the end of September.
I wasn't supposed to stay there. It was at the time what I was going through. I was just staying with him, like to just stay with him as a friend. It wasn't me living there yet.
I got it, and that's why I'm saying he had never mentioned rent until the end of September. He never mentioned it, and you never mentioned it.
But to my recollection, September, yeah.
He didn't say I let you go 2 months free. Or you said, could you go?
Like I said, initially I wasn't planning to stay. I wasn't. But at this time of the situation that was going on.
Getting away from your plans and your situation to your discussion in terms of an agreement. It just sounds odd that you move in with someone and you never discuss paying.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't supposed to live with him. I wasn't supposed to stay that long as I did.
Oh, how long were you supposed to stay?
I was only supposed to stay a month, and then it ended up to being longer than that. And when they got to the second month, and it was like, that's when he had told me, like the end of the second month.
Okay, so it was something discussed.
At the end of in September, like I said.
No, in the beginning.
No, I never said that.
You just was thinking that I'm just going to stay a month.
No,
he didn't know how long.
No.
When people move in with you, they tell you how long they're going to stay, or the person tells how long you can stay.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my point. Was that discussed when you moved in?
When I told him that I wouldn't be there long. That's all I told him. I never gave him a time span.
Okay.
I keep saying that.
So
you
said there was no discussion, remember? You keep saying there was no discussion. That's what you keep saying. And you said, I'm going to be quiet while I'm talking.
Yeah, okay.
You said when I moved in, we didn't discuss it. So when I kept going back and forth and showed you how silly you sound and how big of a fool you sound, now you want to get smart and say, as I just told you. You ain't just told me nothing. Sir, was there anything discussed when she moved in regarding rent?
Yes, it was.
You said it was discussed that she would pay $350. She says there was absolutely nothing discussed, that she was just moving in, and in her mind, she didn't determine she was going to stay. And then when I cross-examined her and said, well, I told him, be quiet, ma'am. Judge me for the plaintiff, I believe you. Have a good day.
get my money. Got everything situated, so
And it was fine.
it'll be okay. That's my sister. I love you. You know I love you.
So I love Jesse. That's never gonna change.
Always.
Always.
Plaintiff A.J. Setter says he and the defendant became friends in college and rented an apartment together. A.J. claims everything was fine until the defendant moved his girlfriend in. And that's when they filed a restraining order against him, forcing him out of the apartment. He's suing for attorney fees, rent, and emotional distress. Defendant Christian Miller Goki and his girlfriend Chelsea Whitcomb say the reason they filed a restraining order against A.J. is because he threatened to kill them. Christian is countersuing for rent, late fees, and emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, me and Christian, we met each other first day freshman year back in 2012. We'd hang out.
Where did you all attend?
Bowling Green State University. Still attend now. We were good friends. Ate lunch. Did normal college things, and we decided for the 2014-2015 school year to get an apartment together. And it wasn't an issue at all until he brought his girlfriend in to live with us, free of charge of everything, for several months, until March, where a restraining order was brought against me by these two and got kicked out of my apartment.
Why? What was the...
It was a civil stalking restraining order because of verbal disagreement.
Well, let me hear from you. Maybe you'll give me more detail on this verbal disagreement.
He threatened to kill me and my girlfriend, and I had to get a protection order because I did not feel safe.
Are those the details you were missing?
Those are the details under the circumstance that his girlfriend was trying to get him to fight me as well as she was trying to fight me. And he's a hunter and he has guns unlocked with ammo next to it in the apartment.
What do you have?
Nothing myself. I don't.
So you clearly didn't threaten to kill him.
If
you had nothing and he has all these guns and ammunition, I know you gotta have better sense than that.
I threatened to kill him knowing
that he had all those guns.
Yes, because she was trying to fight me, and if I was touched in any manner, I was.
Well, what made you think? But let me tell you what you just told me. Let me tell you what you just told me. I said, you threatened to kill him? Yeah. Why did you threaten to kill him? Because he was going to beat me up and his girlfriend was going to beat me up, and they had all type of guns and ammunition. Did you have a gun? Nope. What, were you going to kill him with your bare hands?
If he had a gun, absolutely.
Good enough. All right, now I understand now. So it didn't matter whether he had a gun or not.
If he grabbed that gun and used it
because you could kill him with your bare hands. That's what you just said. Didn't you just say that? How many guns you have?
I had no guns in the apartment at the time.
You have yours?
I don't have a gun.
We're not making fun of this, sir, because you're here suing them for emotional distress, and by your own admission, you threatened to kill them.
We were arguing, and it was in the heat of the moment that I said that.
Right. But what did they say to you during this argument that could be so threatening, because he says they got a restraining order against you? What am I missing about you suffering the emotional distress?
I was kicked out of my apartment.
For what?
I got a restraining order. They took a restraining order, a civil stalking order against me.
Successfully.
2 days later, after the argument happened, if their life were by any means were threatened, I feel like they would get the restraining order.
You did threaten their life.
They would get it the next day. They wouldn't wait 2 days to get a restraining order against me if they felt if there was life-threatening danger.
What was your side of the story?
I said I didn't do anything that anybody in my situation would do the same thing I would do, knowing that there's guns unlocked with ammunition next to each other.
I don't think anybody in your situation would say, I'm going to kill you, when they have no weapons and they know the other person has guns. Nobody would say that.
Even under the circumstances that...
Nobody. They would run.
I had nowhere to run.
Sir, what are the lawyer fees for?
$750 against the restraining order, because if I didn't have the restraining order, I wouldn't have to pay $750 for a lawyer fee.
And if you wouldn't have told them you would kill him, you wouldn't have gotten the
I believe they still would have got the restraining order.
Believe? That's speculation.
I know for a fact they would have got the restraining order.
How do you know for a fact it didn't happen, sir? How do they owe you for rent? So
They owe me for rent because Chelsea lived there from early September until after the time I was kicked out, which is May 31st, which is
what was the agreement?
There was never any previous agreement.
You have to. What do you just want to pick some number out of
No,
the
I did not pick a number
What
at
number
all.
do you want to pick?
I believe it's 683.
How'd you come up? Oh, that's what she owes?
She owes for the time that she was living there, yes.
How much a month?
It's
Go ahead and pick
580
it
divided
now
by
for
3.
Her portion.
Her portion? Mm-hmm. I believe $98 a month.
Where'd you get that from?
That number comes from the total lease agreement divided by 3.
Okay,
then-
but yet you remember what you said when she moved in? She stayed there scot-free.
I never said that she could say
You
that for
started
free.
there. That's how you started your testimony. You said
she
she
was-
was there, sir. That's enough. Your counterclaim for rent and emotional distress is for what?
He was late on even before this incident. He was late with his payments, and after he got kicked out, he did not make the last 2 months' payment.
What month was he late on or failed to pay prior to being kicked out?
He was late on November.
How much was the late fee for that?
The late fee was $50.
And he failed to pay which months?
He failed to pay March, April, and May.
And the amount for each month is what?
The amount for March was $130. The amount for April was $290, and the amount for May was $159.
So what's your defense?
My defense is that I was not living there for the last 2 months.
Right, because you couldn't because of the
I got
restraining
kicked out. I
order.
got kicked out.
You breached the lease.
And then I also paid $450 for March. I paid March.
Sir? Said he paid for March.
He paid for part of March.
And your half was how much?
My half was $295.
And his half was $295.
Correct.
What portion did he pay of the $295?
He was actually late for February, so then the $450 that he paid off part
Now,
of.
you didn't say anything about late for February. You said he was late for November. Let's deal with March.
All right.
How much did he pay toward March's rent?
He paid $450 for February and March.
I said, how much did he pay for March's rent? One last time.
He paid
Okay, you're not sure, he's very certain. I'll grant you April and May because even though you didn't stay there, sir, you broke the lease. When you threatened to kill him and the restraining order was issued against you, you effectively broke the lease. And once again, you admit to threatening to kill him. Is that what your emotional distress for, and how much are you asking for that, sir?
I am asking $2,271.
What happened afterwards to cause you so much distress?
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't.
Why not?
I was scared because my key went missing the day that all this happened, and I knew where it was. But then
Your key to what?
the apartment.
All right, but he already had a key. What do you need your key for?
I assume he lost it, and
You assume. There you go.
well, when I woke
Keep
up,
stuttering. Go ahead, sir.
He don't have ammo and the guns.
Right. Yeah, that's right. You had the ammunition and the guns.
I did not have any.
I know you didn't, sir. I don't believe that for 1 second. And that's why, sir, I'm dismissing your claim. There was no agreement that the young lady should pay rent. You all should have discussed that up front. With regard to your lawyer fees, $750, that's something you're responsible for because that's something you caused by threatening and having a restraining order issued against you. With regard to the rent, I'm going to assess April and May, $290 plus $159 is what?
$449.
Is $449, and I'll even give you the late fee, sir, $50. $499 is your judgment, sir. Have a good day.
Plaintiff Christiana Wentz allowed the defendant and his fiancée to move into her home, but it was a total nightmare because the defendant was constantly drunk and often degraded her. Christiana is suing because she claims after they attended a music festival, the defendant attacked her and busted her tooth. Defendant Carlos Rodriguez denies that he was rude to Christiana and says she was the one who was often drinking in the home. Carlos admits that he and Christiana got into a physical fight, but he insists it was only after Christiana attacked him.
All right, what's going on?
I know him through my boyfriend Jeff, and he's grew up with his daughter all his life, and he called us. We live out in North California, and he called from Florida wanting to come move out till they get on their feet, and we agreed. They came out and moved with us for about 2 months. It was a nightmare. They brought a loaded gun in the house.
How'd you discover that?
Jeff found it in the closet that they hid. And they brought their dog that we were unaware
Jeff
of.
found it in the closet where they hid it. So he was going through their things.
No, it was in our hall closet, Your Honor.
The hall closet.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It was an accident. I wasn't looking.
Okay, I thought she was saying the bedroom closet where they stayed.
I apologize.
All right, go ahead.
And they brought their dog we were unaware of. I asked them not to drink. They kept wanting to drink. They brought tequila. They would drink. And
Were they minors?
I don't think they're minors.
You didn't allow drinking in your household?
I didn't want any drinking at the time, right? I quit drinking, so.
Oh, okay, good. Got it.
And so they were drinking constantly. Carlos was being disrespectful and always having something to say about me and Jeff's bickering back and forth, just putting me down, always putting me down.
Like what?
Well, he called me always a bunch of, cuss words and stuff.
Like the B word?
Worse.
Worse?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. And what would you do when he called you out of your name?
I ignored him. I try to ignore things like that.
What would precipitate that? What would cause him to react to you like
Maybe because he was drunk or on drugs. I don't know.
All right. Go ahead.
And we had originally planned before they moved in to go to Harley Strictly concert in the Golden Gate Park, a free concert, and we had already made arrangements. We went. They talked us into staying into our hotel room. We went the first day, it was a 2-day event. The second day, I came back to the hotel room. He was drunk. He started cussing at me, putting me down again, and he accelerated. And
no reason at all?
He was really drunk.
But it was for no reason.
Yes, for no reason.
You hadn't provoked him or anything of that nature?
Not.
All right, you hadn't chastised him about anything?
No, I did not.
All right. So let me hear from you, background.
We did go to San Francisco together for a music festival. Saying that we forced ourselves into their hotel room or talking.
No, let's back up. She says that from the time you moved in, you were drunk and belligerent toward her.
Absolutely not.
She said you were calling her names and going off on her.
I would never. Pardon me.
Go ahead.
I would never verbally attack somebody who was sharing their home with me, allowing me to stay with them.
If you're drunk, you might.
And if I was drunk all the time, I wonder why they would allow me to stay there for 2 months.
That's a good point, particularly if you didn't allow drinking in the home, man.
Yeah.
Why did you have to continue to allow them to stay? Because it sounds like they were kind of jeopardizing your sobriety.
I stayed away from them when they were drinking.
Okay, you just walked out? But you see it first.
Yeah.
Your Honor.
That's what I'm saying. If they were doing it all the time, you were seeing it all the time.
Every day. Pardon me, they weren't doing it every
How often?
day. Probably about 4 times a week.
Okay, over half the time.
It was really me who was allowing them to stay, and so I was basically putting upon Christiana with this because they were friends of my daughter. I was trying to help him out. I was trying to get him work, get him on his feet. He was constantly picking on Christiana, making fun of her.
In your household?
Yes, sir.
And she would come and tell you?
No, it was in front of me too, and I talked to him about it. I told him he can't be disrespecting Christiana like that.
And then what? He'd do it again?
Some time would pass, and then he would do it again.
Then later he'd do it again?
Yeah. Whenever we would be discussing something, he would jump in on my side and say, "You're an idiot to da-da-da-da-da-da," and call her names and, constantly trying to get in our business.
In front of you?
Yes. And his girlfriend even told me, I'm a
What are you having in my house?
Yeah. Well, Your Honor,
I'm a judge of second chances. So he'd have one chance after the first time.
they had a baby.
After that, we'd be racing to the closet, doctor.
They had a baby. It was really hard to kick him out on the street with a 2-year-old child.
Kick him out then.
Right. Well, even his girlfriend came to me and said, I can't believe CJ hasn't totally gone off on her. And I said, you need to tell CJ he needs to lay off on
All right,
her.
let me hear from you. You say you never did it.
No, I mean, they were extending to me a huge favor.
Did he ever mention this to you? Is this the first time you're hearing it?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Does your witness want to speak?
I would like to reply to that.
State your name.
My name is Bianca Garza.
What do you want to tell me?
Just in reply to that, I did say that. I did say I cannot believe that CJ has not gone off on Christiana because she was actually the one who was engaging in the drinking. And she was acting irate. And I do actually recall one specific time when we went to the grocery store together and she bought a bottle of wine.
Yes, sir, stand back up. What she says does make a little more sense because for her to say, I can't believe he hasn't gone off on her, that means she has done something that would otherwise have provoked a normal person.
Yeah, no, actually what it was he would start picking on her. Now, she's not going to sit there and just take it, so she would argue back with him, and they would bicker back and forth.
So you said you all never had any arguments at all?
No, she never argued with me.
So, ma'am, you just said they did because that's why. No, you be quiet. I'm going with her, what she told me. You just said she would fuss at him, and that's why you made the statement, I can't believe he hasn't gone off on her yet. Is that true or not?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, well, hold on. Your mate says it's not.
Not towards Carlos, but towards Jeff, and in general, she was belligerent. Jeffrey dismissed.
Why would he go off? Because his woman would argue with him.
When you're staying in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, for somebody to be belligerent, it's obnoxious, and it's affecting everybody. It's affecting the mood. There's not,
And it may have caused him to go off. You didn't say it about yourself.
No.
Why? So why did you say it about him? Why did you say, I'm surprised I didn't go off?
It's a very good question.
You said it about me. I know it's a very good question. I know it is. All right, you're suing about dental bills. How does he owe you for dental
I have
bills?
pictures of what he did to
Tell me what happened
I
first.
came back from the concert after getting separated from everyone all day right when I got there. Came back from the concert in the evening. They were drunk. I was kind of arguing with Jeff about how I thought he left me on purpose. He apologized. Everything was fine. He was still so drunk and yelling at me and cussing at me, and he said, "You're not nothing but a stupid." And then he yelled from the top of his voice as loud as he could, then a different cuss word, and then he grabbed my neck, spun me around, put my arms between my back, kicked me in the back, and pushed me onto the bedpost and busted my tooth out. And I have pictures, and I also have the dental bill.
With her arms both behind her back, he jumped on top of her after choking her.
So what do you say?
That most of that is completely untrue. There was some truth to that. Bianca and I had arrived to the hotel with our daughter before either of them had arrived. We were actually finishing some dinner. The plaintiff's witness showed up to the hotel. We were fraternizing a little bit. The plaintiff arrived, immediately began arguing and fighting with her witness, back to the same old bickering and, confrontation.
Between the two of them?
Absolutely. the aggression that she had towards him, for whatever reason, became my issue. In the sense that she started
fussing at you?
to verbally attack me. So I told her to shut her mouth in a very choice way. She completely lost her mind, flew across the hotel room, started hitting me, scratching, spitting, screaming, yelling, you name it. I got up from the chair I was in, went towards the balcony. She pursued me, continued striking me. So I turned around, grabbed her by her wrist, spun her around, put her in a bear hug with her back to my chest, took a few steps into the hotel room from the balcony, then, threw us both on the bed with my body weight on top of her, as to subdue her and her wild flailing around, yelling for the plaintiff's witness to come out of the bathroom, which he did, and as soon as he did, I leapt off of her and went into the bathroom.
So all this got on her neck. You have no idea how that happened?
No, sir.
Yet you admit you all were in a physical confrontation. All right. So I believe, based on the evidence, that you went beyond what would have been required to restrain her. First of all, I don't believe you at all. Don't believe you. Think you're a liar. Put your hand down. Have a seat. You all told two different stories, remember? A little while ago? So I don't need to hear another lie. You all told two different stories a minute ago. So one of y'all lying, and so you sit down so I can just hear one lie. All right. So, if I were to believe everything you say, I would conclude that you went beyond defending yourself and restraining her based on the evidence I have viewed. I will grant you your $5,000, and I will suggest that you pursue criminal charges against him, and if he tells the judge that, he'll go to jail. Have a good day.
I don't think that guy should hit girls at all, period.
Yeah, I can't believe that his parents never taught him that guys shouldn't hit girls, and I hope that he at least learned a lesson.
I think this is a bunch of bull.
Tell
Thank you.